Thomas walked slowly down the quiet street, his mind heavy with the weight of the secret he carried. He had promised Sarah that he would never reveal what they had found in the old basement, but the pressure was becoming unbearable. As he reached the corner, he saw Julian waiting for him, looking anxious and tapping his foot against the pavement. Julian had always been the more impulsive one, and Thomas feared that he might have already spoken to someone about their discovery. When they finally met, Julian grabbed his arm and whispered that Elena was looking for them both. They knew they had to act fast before the truth came out and change their lives forever. Thomas took a deep breath, nodding to his friend as they hurried toward the outskirts of town. He wondered if they could truly escape the consequences of their actions, or if the past would eventually catch up to them. Every shadow seemed to hold a threat, and every rustle of the wind sounded like a warning. They reached the old oak tree where they had agreed to hide the map, feeling a momentary sense of relief as they saw the ground undisturbed. However, the silence of the woods felt heavy and expectant, as if the earth itself was holding its breath. Thomas looked at Julian, seeing his own fear reflected in his companion's eyes. They were in this together, for better or worse, and there was no turning back now. My bride ran away on our wedding day, so I turned around and married her mother. If I can't be your husband, I'll be your new dad. When she came back and saw me still in her house, she thought I was shamelessly refusing to leave. She pulled a clean-cut pretty boy out from behind her, declaring he was her true love, and told me to give up my delusions. I smiled faintly, clasping the hand of the woman beside me. Daughter, son-in-law, why don't you start by calling me Dad? I am the heir to the Miller Group. Today was supposed to be my wedding day with the Sterling family heiress, but the bride who should have been at the ceremony was nowhere to be found. You're saying Olivia Sterling ran off? My voice was ice cold. That's what we hear. The maid trembled as she spoke. My parents were furious too. The Miller and Sterling families had been preparing for this wedding for months. Invitations had gone out to all the major prominent families in New York City, and the media was buzzing with coverage. If Olivia had any objections to this wedding, she could have raised them at any time during this period. To pull a runaway bride stunt on the wedding day itself was a public slap in the face to the Miller family. After calming me down, my parents hurried off to discuss countermeasures. Just as I was huddled in a corner wondering how this wedding feast could possibly proceed, a commotion erupted at the entrance. I instinctively looked up and my eyes fell upon a woman in a black suit with a stunningly beautiful face. This was Beatrice Sterling, the current head of the Sterling family and Olivia's adoptive mother. She still looked like she was in her early s. Beatrice rarely attended large gatherings. Even I had only seen her a handful of times. The moment this woman appeared, people from every family at the banquet rushed forward to greet her. Gazing at Beatrice's exquisite face, a crazy idea suddenly popped into my head. I watched as Beatrice politely declined each person before striding towards me. Miss Sterling. I managed a polite smile, though my voice held a hint of grievance. In the next second, Beatrice's voice, deep and pleasant like a cello, sounded, Mr. Miller, I apologize for the distress this has caused you. I've already sent people to retrieve her. Once she's caught, you can deal with her as you see fit. I will explain everything to the guests. The wedding will be postponed, and the Sterling family will bear all costs incurred. It was indeed a perfect solution, but I now had a better option. Miss Sterling, I've been engaged to the Sterling family since childhood, but the bride doesn't necessarily have to be Olivia, right? What? The situation had changed too quickly. Beatrice didn't react immediately. When she did, her gaze deepened. Of course, who did you have in mind? I offered a sweet smile, and without hesitation extended my hand towards Beatrice. Will you be my bride? Although Beatrice was Olivia's adoptive mother, she wasn't her biological mother. In fact, Beatrice had never actually married. Rumor had it that she adopted a child from a distant branch of the family. That child was Olivia. Beatrice flashed a radiant smile, raising an eyebrow. Are you sure? Absolutely. I didn't hesitate. Compared to Olivia, her mother Beatrice was infinitely more attractive. Just looking at her gorgeous face every day would be soothing, much better than being cheated on behind my back by that ugly brat Olivia. Beatrice looked at me steadily. All right. Her cool, fair hand grasped mine tightly, sending a jolt through my heart. The wedding simply swapped protagonists. We didn't even need to change outfits. The elegant white wedding dress looked as if it were custom-made for Beatrice. The two of us looked so well matched, as if we were meant to be the bride and groom all along. Everyone attending the wedding banquet was sharp. Olivia's escape had been too sudden, and with no deliberate attempt to hide it, most guests were aware of what had happened. Reporters, smelling a juicy story, eagerly raised their cameras towards the stage, waiting to capture the drama between two of New York's wealthiest families. Seeing me lead Beatrice onto the stage, many jaws dropped. They had to admit the direct bride swap was quite something. The officiant, holding a newly printed script, professionally introduced the groom and bride. "Will the groom and bride please exchange rings?" Beatrice took out a ring and placed it on my finger. I took out the other ring for her. As I slipped the ring onto Beatrice's finger, I realized it didn't fit properly, and my eyes showed regret. This ring was sized for Olivia. Time was too tight to have a new one made. Luckily, it could just barely be worn. After the ring exchange came the groom kissing the bride. I couldn't help feeling nervous. Beatrice was known for her propriety. The few times she attended events, she never even had a male companion. Would she be willing? I started regretting dragging Beatrice into this on a whim. Just as my mind was racing, I suddenly felt a soft touch on my lips. I opened my eyes in disbelief, met by the sight of Beatrice's flawless face. Seeming to sense my shock, Beatrice placed a hand on the back of my head and deepened the kiss. I slowly closed my eyes, the sound of the guests' congratulatory applause filling my ears. My parents weren't aware of my sudden decision, but faced with the congratulations from those around them, they could only smile and play along. They couldn't very well embarrass their own son in public. During the toasts, Mom pulled me into a private room. Dad was there too. She locked the door. "Son, what is going on? How did you suddenly end up with Beatrice?" "Because she's beautiful." I didn't quite know how to explain my impulsive act. "Beautiful?" My mom thought about Beatrice's face. "Yes, she was indeed quite beautiful, but she's over years older than you. She was practically finishing elementary school when you were born." "What's the big deal? Don't they say mature women know how to take care of someone?" I said brazenly, but Mom still frowned, unconvinced. Just as I was racking my brain for an excuse, there was a knock on the door. Knock, knock, knock. Mom opened the door to find Beatrice standing there. It wasn't clear if she had just arrived or had been waiting for a while. My parents quickly put on gracious smiles as if they hadn't just been questioning her suitability. "Miss Sterling, is there something we can help you with?" "I have a few things I'd like to discuss with Mr. and Mrs. Miller." I don't know what Beatrice discussed with my parents, but in a short time, they not only stopped opposing the marriage, but became quite supportive of Beatrice. "Beatrice is good, capable, and resourceful." Dad acknowledged Beatrice's abilities. Although the age gap was significant, a woman like her was mature, stable, and caring. Someone like Olivia, who would run away at the last minute, wasn't worthy of his son. After the wedding, I moved directly into the Sterling family's large villa. This was Beatrice's private residence, and it was my first time here. The interior decoration was minimalist, summarized by black, white, and gray. After a long day of socializing, she was sticky with the smell of alcohol and sweat, so Beatrice went to freshen up first. I sat on the sofa to rest. The sound of rushing water came from the bathroom. Through the frosted glass, I could vaguely see the silhouette inside. I felt a little embarrassed and swallowed nervously. After a while, the water stopped and I instinctively looked up. Beatrice emerged from the bathroom wearing a bathrobe. The open collar hinted at the depths beneath, and her long, slender, fair legs were exposed. I was momentarily stunned. I hadn't realized she maintained her figure so well. Seeing me staring straight at her, a faint smile played on Beatrice's lips. "Caleb, why don't you go take a shower too?" Her deep, magnetic voice sounded. Realizing I'd been caught staring, I scrambled into the bathroom, stripped off my clothes, and let the water wash over me. Beatrice's voice calling me Caleb still echoed in my ears. Why hadn't I noticed how captivating she was before? After showering, I suddenly remembered I hadn't brought my clothes in. Helpless, I carefully opened the bathroom door just a crack, revealing half my face. Beatrice, I forgot my clothes. Could you please hand them to me?" "They're in that bag on the sofa." "Just hand me the whole bag." There was no response from outside for a moment. I wondered if Beatrice had left. Just as I was about to ask again, a reply. "Okay." Her pleasant voice had gained a hint of huskiness. Then came the sounds of movement and rustling plastic. Soon Beatrice arrived at the bathroom door. Here, I cautiously opened the door a little wider, extending my arm. The clothes were placed in my hand. Thanks. As I closed the bathroom door, my eyes accidentally met Beatrice's. Those deep eyes seemed to burn with fire. Looking down at the underwear in my hand, my face turned completely red. I clearly asked her to hand me the whole bag. After dawdling in the bathroom for a long time, I eventually had to come out. Steeling myself, I pushed open the door and walked out. Beatrice had already changed into her pajamas and was sitting on the bed reading some documents. Seeing me emerge, she closed the file. Seeing no teasing expression on her face, I breathed a sigh of relief. Conveniently, I still had some serious matters to ask her about. What do you plan to do about Olivia? As if expecting the question, Beatrice handed me the documents she had just been reading. Take a look. I walked over and took the file. It detailed the story of how Olivia met some boy, reminiscent of an old-fashioned melodrama about a rich heiress and a pretty boy. There was even a thoughtfully included photo of this pretty boy, truly a green tea type. Unbeknownst to me, these two had gone through cycles of dramatic breakups and reconciliations, until the night before when the pretty boy learned Olivia was getting married and called her crying. Olivia's heart softened. She regretted everything, abandoned her fiancé on the eve of the wedding, and ran off with her young lover. Wow, if I weren't the fiancé myself, I'd almost wish them well. But unfortunately, I was the unlucky fiancé. Damn it. Why didn't these two sort this out earlier? The timeline in the file showed their melodrama had been going on for 2 months longer than the wedding preparations. If Olivia had given even the slightest hint, I wouldn't be this angry. Olivia has already taken her little boyfriend traveling abroad. I've sent people to bring her back. If you wish, our marriage doesn't have to be official, Beatrice said calmly, sensing my anger and assuming I regretted it. After all, we hadn't gotten legally married yet, just held the ceremony. But how could I regret it? I had thrown away trash and picked up a treasure. This was incredibly lucky for me. We are married. I am your husband now. We'll go get the marriage license tomorrow. I was very serious. Beatrice saw the sincerity in my words and became serious too. Okay. Does your offer to let me deal with Olivia as I please still stand? I suddenly flashed a mischievous grin. As you wish. Excellent. I want you to freeze her credit cards. Without funds. Let's see how comfortably Olivia and her little boyfriend can travel abroad. Beatrice saw through my petty intentions, but instead of stopping me, fanned the flames. Starting today, I will seize all assets under her name. Little husband, what do you think? The sudden little husband caught me off guard for a second. I think that's great. Anything to make her life more miserable made me happier. After dealing with the scum woman, it was time for the next step. Let's get some rest then. Beatrice seemed genuinely tired and reached over to turn off the light. The room plunged into darkness. I lay stiffly in bed, my heart pounding like a trapped deer. First time being married, still a bit unsure of the protocol. What happens next? Wedding night? Consummation? Just as I was contemplating whether to make a move. Sleep. I won't touch you until you're ready. What? Shouldn't the guy usually say that? With a handsome man like me right beside her, could Beatrice really resist? Having just closed her eyes, Beatrice opened them again. I realized I'd accidentally spoken my thoughts aloud and quickly pretended to be asleep. However, barely 2 seconds after closing my eyes, I felt a weight settle on top of me. Cool, jade-like hands rested on my chest, warm breath fanning my ear. Want to try it? Turns out you shouldn't provoke a mature woman who's been celibate for years, or you'll face the consequences. Next day when I woke up, the sun was already high in the sky. The space beside me was cool. Beatrice was gone. Understandable, the big boss is busy. My stomach rumbled with hunger, so I went downstairs to find food. Surprisingly, Beatrice was sitting at the dining table reading a magazine. Little husband is awake. Did you rest well last night? Today Beatrice wasn't wearing a suit. She had on a simple white shirt, the collar slightly open, revealing faint marks underneath. Remembering yesterday, my face flushed again, but I retorted defiantly. Slept very well, B. Hearing this nickname, the smile on Beatrice's lips widened. Looks like my little husband was very satisfied last night. That puts my mind at ease. Why do you have to add little before husband? What's little about me? Beatrice's gaze swept down, then she patted my head. Not little at all. Look how worked up you got. I grumbled and sat down at the table. I'm hungry. Beatrice smiled indulgently and went to the kitchen to bring out the food she'd kept warm. You just woke up, shouldn't eat anything too greasy. Breakfast was simple, a plate of dumplings, 2 small side dishes, and a bowl of congee. I was starving and didn't fuss, eagerly grabbing a dumpling. My eyes instantly lit up. Delicious. So good. Who made these dumplings? Beatrice smiled without speaking. A thought flashed through my mind. Don't tell me you made them? Beatrice confirmed it with a light. As long as it suits my husband's taste. I wanted to say something snarky, but they really were delicious. One must be honest. Seeing me eat happily, Beatrice was also satisfied. It wasn't a waste of her efforts to specifically learn cooking. After lingering over breakfast, it was already quite late. I went upstairs to change. The decision to marry Beatrice was too sudden, and I hadn't prepared beforehand. There were no men's clothes in the villa. The clothes I had were brought from home. Beatrice frowned slightly, stepped out, and made a phone call. By the time she returned, I was ready. Let's go, B. Okay. Today Beatrice wore a white shirt paired with light-colored jeans, looking like a fresh-faced college student. However, my face flushed as I looked at the collarbone revealed by her shirt opening and the red mark below it. Are you going out like this? Is it not okay? Beatrice asked, puzzled. I could only step forward, adjust her collar, then grab her arm and head out. With the fresh marriage certificate in hand, Beatrice and I were truly husband and wife. Saying goodbye to single life like this felt a bit strange, but looking at the handsome man and beautiful woman in the wedding photo. TSK, what a perfect match. My taste is excellent. Olivia and that pretty boy went traveling abroad. With her cards cut off, they'd probably come crawling back within 2 days without money. I was now eagerly anticipating Olivia's return and seeing her reaction to me becoming her father. Beatrice was very thoughtful. After getting the marriage certificate, we returned home to find the previously empty closet filled with all sorts of men's clothing, all brand name, current season styles. It was urgent, didn't have time for custom tailoring. Make do with these for now, Beatrice said. Although many of these clothes were ones I already owned, I was still very touched by Beatrice's gesture. Just as I predicted, with all her cards frozen, Olivia found it impossible to move abroad. As a conglomerate heiress, she never carried cash. Fortunately, the pretty boy beside her named Sebastian hadn't worked since getting together with Olivia and still had some savings. If it weren't for Sebastian, she probably wouldn't have even made it back. Sebastian's real name was Sebastian Grant. He put on a show comforting Olivia. Olivia, don't worry, maybe something happened. Let's buy tickets and go back to sea. Honey, thank you. Seeing Sebastian use his savings to buy tickets, Olivia was deeply moved. She vaguely guessed something about her cards being frozen. They were unlimited cards. Bank staff wouldn't dare freeze them casually. It must have been that Caleb Miller who said something. Anyway, the wedding was over. It was time to return. Sebastian had been by her side for so long. They truly loved each other. It was time to give him proper status. After all, she had even given him her first time. Thinking this, a happy smile appeared on Olivia's face. Once they returned, they would get married. Then she would take over the Sterling Corporation from Beatrice, and no one could control her anymore. She could already envision her future happiness. So the two eagerly booked a flight back overnight. After a 7-hour flight, they arrived at the mansion around in the morning. Olivia knew Beatrice rarely stayed at the old family estate, so she headed straight for Beatrice's villa. I was currently lounging lazily on the sofa watching TV, waiting for Beatrice's breakfast. Having spent the past few days constantly with Beatrice, I realized my initial impression of her being aloof and unapproachable was just a facade. She was clearly a siren draining one's energy to enjoy their private time. Beatrice had even given the villa staff a short break, with only the cleaning lady coming every few days. Thus, preparing 3 meals a day fell to Beatrice. Fortunately, Beatrice seemed happy to do it. Every time she saw me eating with my cheeks puffed out, she'd playfully poke them. Just then, a mechanical voice sounded. Master, someone is at the door. I shuffled in my slippers to check the security monitor outside. Seeing the travel-worn Olivia and Sebastian, I couldn't help raising an eyebrow. They were quick. Your daughter's back. I walked into the kitchen, hugged Beatrice from behind, and watched her perfectly fry a sunny-side-up egg. TSK, people are different. Deal with her as you please. Beatrice didn't even lift her eyelids. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. I left Olivia and the pretty boy waiting outside the gate, leisurely went upstairs to change, and only then opened the main gate. The villa was huge, the grounds extensive. It could almost be called a small estate. Previously, guests arrived by car, but unfortunately the driver was also on leave, and I couldn't be bothered to drive out to pick them up. They'd have to walk in themselves. Olivia and Sebastian had rushed straight to the villa after landing, without even eating. Now they were hungry and thirsty, but could only wait at the gate. Finally the gate opened, but they had to rely on their own legs to get inside. This place is really big. Envy and jealousy flashed in Sebastian's eyes. Once we're married, I'll buy you one this big too, Olivia declared grandly. That must be very expensive, Olivia. It's not necessary. No matter where we live, just being with you makes me happy. What's the big deal? I'll buy you several villas in the future. You can rotate living in them. Despite her bravado, Olivia felt a little timid as she approached the main door. Growing up, Olivia hadn't paid much attention to her adoptive mother Beatrice, but after witnessing how Beatrice dealt with disobedient people, she learned her lesson as she grew older and understood Beatrice's methods better. Her respect turned into fear. However, Beatrice rarely interfered in family matters, which was why Olivia dared to run off. She believed Beatrice wouldn't meddle. Besides, as the sterling heiress, Beatrice couldn't treat her like those other people. Buoyed by these thoughts, Olivia psyched herself up. Mom! She pushed open the door, but the person who greeted her wasn't Beatrice, but someone unexpected. I offered Olivia a friendly smile from the doorway. Hello. You Caleb? What are you doing here? Olivia instinctively stepped back. Ah. She bumped into Sebastian, standing behind her. Sebastian, caught off guard, got his foot stepped on hard, but didn't dare make a sound despite the pain. Hearing Sebastian's cry, Olivia quickly turned to check on him. Are you okay, Sebastian? Olivia, I'm fine, as long as you're okay, Sebastian said weakly, gritting his teeth. Olivia fussed over Sebastian right in front of me. Caleb Miller, I didn't expect you to be so malicious. What did I do? This is ridiculous. I haven't moved from this spot since the beginning. Don't try to frame me. Olivia realized her accusation was baseless and shifted her attack. I didn't expect you to be so shameless. Our wedding didn't even happen. How dare you live here? I don't like you. We have no future. This is my boyfriend Sebastian. We're getting married soon. What gave you that impression? I was puzzled and speechless. Wow, this girl didn't even read the news reports from that day. But why would she think I'd cling to her? Have I ever pursued her excessively? Reviewing all my interactions with Olivia in my mind, I was, no. Is Olivia an idiot? Buddy, I know you and Olivia were engaged, but you didn't actually get married. Besides, Olivia and I truly love each other. Please just let us be happy together. Sebastian had started his performance, a grown man sniffling and crying as if he'd suffered immense injustice. Olivia's heart ached for him, and she yelled at me. Caleb Miller, you've gone too far. What does this have to do with me? Damn, I can't keep up with these two's logic. Are they crazy? I said sympathetically. Did the mental hospital run out of space letting you two run wild out here? It took Olivia a moment to react. You're the crazy one. Seeing the utter indifference on my face, Olivia began to doubt if I even liked her. But then she remembered where she was. This was the Sterling house, not the Miller house. If Caleb wasn't here for her, why else would he be here? He must be pretending, trying to get her attention. Olivia softened her tone slightly. Caleb, I have someone I love. There's no future for us. Apologize to my boyfriend immediately, and maybe we can still be friends later. Who wants to be friends with you? Stupidity is contagious. Just as I was about to retort, Beatrice's voice came from behind me. What's wrong? Everyone turned simultaneously. Beatrice was wearing a custom-made black shirt that outlined her perfect figure, combined with her stunning face and ascetic aura. Every move she made was captivating. Sebastian stared, slightly dazed. Mom, we're back. Why is this person here? Olivia eagerly asked Beatrice. Beatrice ignored her and waved towards me. Come eat. Since I was standing with Olivia and Sebastian, they both thought Beatrice was beckoning them. Mom, you even made breakfast especially for us. Olivia was deeply touched and tried to pull Sebastian over, but before they could reach the table, Beatrice blocked them. Mom, what are you doing? Olivia asked, confused. Beatrice extended her hand towards me again. Honey, I'm coming. I immediately dashed forward and took Beatrice's hand right in front of the two stunned onlookers. Turning back to see Olivia and Sebastian's wide eyes and gaping mouths, I beamed. Daughter, call me Dad. Let me hear it. Olivia and Sebastian stood frozen, mouths agape. Beatrice paid them no mind, pulling me to sit at the dining table. Eat. It'll get cold and upset your stomach. The two standing figures took a full 2 minutes to process what was happening. Olivia forgot to lower her voice, shouting in disbelief. What? How is this possible? On the wedding day, of course. Seeing the previously smug and narcissistic Olivia now looking utterly dumbfounded, mouth wide enough to fit an egg, made me happy. Ha ha ha. Serves you right for being conceited. Payback time. Mom, how could you marry him? Olivia couldn't help blurting out. Seeing my triumphant expression, she speculated with the deepest malice. He must have done it on purpose. Mom, he's doing it deliberately. Besides, there's over a decade between you. How can you be together? I admit choosing Beatrice initially had a slight element of revenge, but only slight. The bigger reason was that as a Miller, I couldn't let the family lose face in front of so many people. People like us don't usually expect love and marriage. I chose Beatrice because of her status. Besides, Beatrice truly was far superior to Olivia in every way. Looks, figure, intelligence, everything. What's wrong with a decade difference? Love knows no age. I raised an eyebrow, then right in front of Olivia, planted a kiss on Beatrice's cheek. Revenge on you at the cost of marriage? Are you even worth it? Quick, good daughter, call me Dad, or I'll have your mom replace you with another daughter. I threatened. Olivia pointed at my gloating face, fuming. Mom, aren't you going to do something about him? Hearing this, Beatrice finally graced Olivia with a glance. Just as Olivia thought Beatrice was about to reprimand me, Beatrice affectionately ruffled my hair. How could I possibly control him? Besides, since I married Caleb, you should rightfully call him Dad. Seeing Beatrice siding with me, Olivia felt incredibly wronged. Having been treated like a princess for so many years, she'd never suffered such humiliation. She immediately turned to leave. Just then, she felt her hand squeezed. It was Sebastian. Looking down at Sebastian's pitiful face, she thought, fine, for our future happiness together, I'll endure it. Dad. Olivia forced out the word through gritted teeth. My daughter is so obedient, ha ha ha. I finally couldn't hold back my laughter, roaring with mirth. Caleb Miller. Seeing me laugh so heartily without sparing her any face, Olivia's expression darkened further. Here, Dad even prepared a red envelope for you. Completely unfazed, I cheerfully walked up to Olivia and took a few bills from my pocket, placing them in her hand. Olivia didn't even want to take it. As an heiress, she didn't lack this small amount of money. Just then, Beatrice said coolly, Take it. Don't throw it away. I'll endure. Olivia accepted it through gritted teeth, feeling like she might break them. Thank you, Dad. You're welcome, you're welcome. I replied, flashing all 8 teeth. After dealing with her, it was the pretty boy's turn. Yo, so this is my future son-in-law. I looked Sebastian up and down. Although I'd seen his photo, seeing him in person now, yeah, still not impressive. What kind of taste does Olivia have? While Sebastian's pretty face was indeed good-looking, pale and delicate, his body was like a bamboo stick. The greed in his eyes since entering the courtyard was impossible to hide. This guy was definitely trouble. Only a fool like Olivia, blinded by narcissism, couldn't see it and believed Sebastian truly loved her. Hi. Hello. My name is Sebastian. Sebastian choked, unable to bring himself to call the man standing before him, who looked about his age. Dad. Oh, Sebastian, right? Not bad, not bad. I didn't mind, offered a casual remark, and sat back down at the table to eat. Now it was Beatrice's turn. Beatrice understood immediately. She wiped her mouth. What did you come here for? Mentioning the purpose of their visit, Olivia immediately forgot her earlier humiliation. Mom, why were my cards frozen? And my cars and houses? Thinking about this, Olivia remembered trying to drive her luxury car after leaving the airport, only to find she had to take a taxi all the way here. Who knows who had been in that taxi before? The stench inside made her face turn green. Why? Don't you know? Beatrice's aura shifted instantly. Her tone became stern, emanating the authority of a leader. Your sudden elopement. Do you realize the impact it would have on the Miller and Sterling families? Can you bear the consequences? Olivia trembled, feeling an urge to kneel and beg for forgiveness. But thinking of Sebastian beside her, she held back for the sake of her image. I just didn't like him. What's wrong with wanting to be with the person I love? Seeing Olivia act as if she'd done nothing wrong, I let out a cold laugh. Don't oversimplify this. It's fine if you don't like me, but we weren't together for just one day, nor was the wedding planned yesterday. If you didn't like me, you could have said so beforehand. Running away the day before the wedding without telling anyone, you trampled the Miller family's reputation into the dust. Marrying me, the sole heir of the Miller group, meant Olivia gained the backing of the Miller family, which cemented her status as the Sterling heiress. Otherwise, with so many children in the Sterling family, many more capable and intelligent than her, what right did she have? After I finished speaking, Beatrice looked at Olivia. Olivia stammered, unable to claim innocence anymore. Actually, she was just foolish. Having had a smooth life, everyone overlooked her mistakes because she was the Sterling heiress. This fostered a habit of acting without considering consequences, doing whatever she pleased. I know I was wrong. I won't dare do it again. You think there'll be a next time? Beatrice's cold gaze swept over her. Olivia quickly corrected herself. No more next times. You want to be with him? Him naturally referred to Sebastian. Yes, Mom. I love him. I can't imagine a future without marrying him. I want to marry him. Olivia immediately perked up, speaking earnestly. Ms. Sterling, Olivia and I are truly in love. I really love her, Sebastian added, his eyes looking shyly yet suggestively at Beatrice. I scoffed inwardly. As a man, I knew exactly what that look meant. This pretty boy was definitely trouble, but it wasn't my turn to act, so I kept quiet. Fine, but if you want to be with him, you must renounce your status as the Sterling heiress. Everything I've given you will be taken back. I won't support someone useless, Beatrice stated calmly. Regardless of Sebastian's character, the Sterling heir could not marry an ordinary man unless Olivia possessed the same capabilities as Beatrice. But Olivia, in her was still as naive as a teenager. Everything she had was given by Beatrice, by the Sterling family. Mom, Olivia cried out in disbelief. Did she have to pay such a high price just to marry the man she loved? Olivia, Hearing Beatrice's words, Sebastian was also shocked. This couldn't happen. He had approached Olivia, acted out a charade, all to enter the Sterling family and live a life of luxury, never worrying about money. If Olivia actually agreed, losing the houses, cars, and money, why would he stay with her? It would be better for Olivia to remain in the Sterling family. As long as he controlled her, he could get as much money as he wanted later. But before he could persuade her, Olivia lovingly grasped his hand. Don't worry, I will absolutely not let you down. She turned to Beatrice. Okay, I agree. From now on, I am no longer your daughter nor the Sterling heiress. Now I can marry Sebastian, right? No. Sebastian's heart bled, but he could only feign being touched. Olivia, you don't have to go this far for me. You are the Sterling heiress. You have a bright future. Don't try to persuade me anymore. I know what this decision means. I promise to marry you, and I will. Don't worry, we'll work hard together in the future and definitely build a good life. Olivia said affectionately. Sitting at the table watching these two talk past each other, I couldn't hide my smile. Talking to such an idiot must be driving Sebastian crazy. Good. Let him taste the confusion I felt earlier. Then we won't keep you. Leave. Before Sebastian could talk Olivia around, Beatrice issued the eviction order. Fine, leave then. Olivia's rash temper flared, and she dragged Sebastian away. Once they were gone and the door closed, I finally burst out laughing until my stomach hurt. Ouch, ouch, ha ha ha. So happy. Beatrice walked over helplessly and rubbed my stomach. I tilted my head back proudly. Of course I'm happy. Did you see Olivia's face earlier? It was so dark. However, I grabbed Beatrice's hand, my eyes sparkling. Are you really kicking Olivia out? She's called you Mom for so many years. Can you bear it? She's not the only one who wants to call me Mom. Beatrice patted my head. Besides, she's too clueless, lacks responsibility. How can she possibly manage Sterling Corp? Exactly. She needs to experience some hardship. I nodded in strong agreement. The heiress was used to comfort, unable to accept any opposition. How could she possibly lead the Sterling group? Beatrice acted swiftly. As soon as Olivia agreed, she immediately called the Sterling family members, ordering that no one was allowed to help Olivia. Violators would face consequences. Olivia's biological parents were also disappointed in their daughter. Why did they go through so much effort to have Beatrice adopt Olivia, only for Olivia to lose her head over some man? When Olivia called her parents to borrow money, they refused without hesitation. Let the spoiled brat suffer a bit. Olivia hung up, stunned. Beside her, Sebastian anxiously urged her. How did it go? Did Mom and Dad agree? It's fine, I still have friends. Olivia's stubbornness kicked in. She called every friend on her contact list, ultimately borrowing only about $1. It sounded like a lot, but previously she spent more than that casually. These fairweather friends. She angrily threw her phone to the ground, shattering it. She comforted Sebastian. Don't worry, I won't let you go back to your previous hard life. I'll find a job tomorrow. I can support you myself. Sebastian lowered his head silently, a flicker of something in his eyes. What he wanted was much more than just being comfortable. Never mind Olivia hitting rock bottom. Right now, Beatrice and I were honeymooning in Miami. Sunshine, beach, here I come. I changed into my swim trunks and stepped out of the room. As expected, Beatrice was so beautiful I couldn't take my eyes off her. I didn't even want to blink. How do I look? Good, she asked proudly, twirling in front of me. Let's go play. Just as she was bouncing towards the door, I grabbed her arm. With a pull, I drew her into my embrace. What are you doing? I find Madam exceptionally beautiful like this, so perhaps it's best we don't go out today. I wouldn't want anyone else seeing Madam like this. Then what do you want to do? Beatrice's eyes darkened. What do you think? I grinned mischievously, leaning close to her ear, my breath warm. Waking up the next day, she stood before the mirror examining the marks on her body. Caleb Miller, you really are a bad man. Women love bad boys, don't they? Miami Beach, the endless ocean merging with the blue sky, truly beautiful. Beatrice sat quietly on a lounge chair watching me. When the time was right, she'd call me over to apply sunscreen, feed her fruit, and give her juice. Life couldn't get better than this. Meanwhile, Olivia was miserable. She was used to spending lavishly. Although she borrowed over $1 from friends and had some savings totaling around $1, her uncontrolled spending depleted most of it in less than a month. Olivia still hadn't found a job. Conversely, Sebastian found work as a waiter, taking on the responsibility of supporting the household. Sebastian still clung to the hope that the Sterling family was just putting on an act to force him away, so he continued playing the role of the perfect boyfriend for Olivia. Olivia naturally was deeply moved and trusted him completely. She handed over the remaining few $1,000s to Sebastian for safekeeping and, through Sebastian's introduction, started working at a company. Olivia, after all, graduated from a prestigious university, so getting hired was easy enough. But Olivia was used to being arrogant. In the small company, she was just a low-level employee. Anyone could push her around, which she couldn't tolerate. 3 days into the job, she got into a fight with her supervisor. After paying several $1,000s in compensation, she was gloriously fired. Olivia, you really need to control your temper. If this continues, what will happen to us? The few $1,000s they had managed to save were gone, just like that. Sebastian felt extremely frustrated, but could only suppress his anger and patiently counsel Olivia. I didn't mean to. He kept ordering me around, making me do this and that. Olivia lowered her head, mumbling like a child caught doing wrong. After her recent experiences, she understood that without the Sterling heiress title, nobody cared about her. Only Sebastian still treated her the same. She couldn't lose Sebastian too. Olivia, I know it's not your fault, but we have no money or power. We just have to endure. Sebastian lowered his head, his voice choked with emotion. Maybe you should go beg Miss Sterling and your parents. If their hearts soften, they'll definitely let you go back. Don't worry, I will definitely do my best. Olivia's gaze became determined, but she still refused Sebastian's suggestion to seek help from the Sterling family. She, Olivia Sterling, had her pride. She had made a promise to Beatrice and would keep it. She would rely on herself to build a good life, not depend on others. A month later, Beatrice and I returned from our honeymoon. Seeing Olivia again shocked me. Was this the same defiant heiress from before? Her hair was messy and dusty, her clothes wrinkled and dirty. She looked like a construction worker. She was holding a carton of milk and a box of pastries. What's this? Olivia knew her current appearance clashed with the opulent mansion. She scratched her head, unusually embarrassed. Don't worry, I'm not here for money. What do you mean? I frowned, not understanding immediately. I just wanted to come thank you. Olivia placed the milk and pastries on the ground, likely worried about getting dirt on me, and bowed from a distance. I stepped back, startled, not daring to accept the items. Thank me? Thank me for what? For colluding with Beatrice to kick her out so we could enjoy life? Had Olivia gone mad? Yes, thank you. If it weren't for what you said, I might never have experienced the happiness I feel now. Although I'm not rich like before, being with Sebastian makes me happy every day. The joy radiating from Olivia's face was genuine. She was truly happy. Over the past month, Olivia had gone through so much. Her first half of life, pampered by everyone, was comfortable, but now she lived miserably. She became pregnant. Sebastian naturally didn't want her working anymore, but she disagreed. Seeing their money dwindle, she gritted her teeth and found another job working in a private company. She couldn't stand the arrogant managers. Working as a waitress or dishwasher paid too little to support Sebastian and the unborn baby, so Olivia gritted her teeth and started washing dishes. Literally washing dishes in a restaurant. She earned $1 a day. Previously, a single drink she ordered cost 10 times that, but now she worked desperately for this meager sum. During this time, she learned how hard life was for low-level employees, something she had never understood before. Now, although it was hard and tiring, seeing the wages in her account felt fulfilling. Coming home each day to a warm meal, and Sebastian's smile filled her heart with warmth. Was this what home felt like? Seeing the joy emanating from Olivia, I understood. I didn't expect Sebastian to last this long. Then Olivia dropped another bombshell. I also came to tell you I'm pregnant. We're having a baby. I'll raise them well through my own efforts in the future. My heart skipped a beat, but my face remained impassive. As long as you're happy, Beatrice, and I wish you happiness. That was the sentence Olivia was waiting for. She left happily. Watching her retreating figure, I felt she was like a simpleton. Back in the villa, I told Beatrice about Olivia's pregnancy and her gift of milk and pastries, asking if she wanted to try some. Beatrice was also somewhat surprised and got up to make a phone call. 2 hours later, a fresh intelligence report was delivered. Beatrice opened it first and scanned it. Curious, I leaned over. How is it? How is it? See for yourself. Beatrice didn't say directly, just handed me the file. My curiosity piqued. I took it and scanned it from top to bottom. It detailed all of Olivia's experiences over the past 2 months. No wonder she said those strange things at the door just now. She really had gone through a lot. Previously pampered as the sterling heiress, she now understood the harsh realities of life. Not bad, progress. But seeing the next line, I raised an eyebrow, then thought back to Olivia's blissful expression. TSK, looks like she's due for another blow. Wait a bit longer, it should be soon. Beatrice took the file from my hand and patted my head affectionately. Looks like you weren't as indifferent to Olivia as you pretended. The file arrived so quickly, proving Beatrice had been having Olivia followed all along. No. Beatrice shook her head simply. You wanted to watch the show. So she had specifically sent people to tail Olivia and Sebastian, ensuring I'd get the first taste of the fresh gossip. I playfully nibbled Beatrice's cheek, leaving a ring of teeth marks. On my face. Does it have to be nibbling? Can't I? You're all mine, she said haughtily. Of course you can. It's my honor. However, madam, if you don't mind, you could nibble a few more times. Ah, no. She leaped off me in a flash. Things unfolded just as Beatrice predicted. It didn't take long, just a month. Sebastian sold the apartment and ran off with all the money. Olivia spent money extravagantly, so Sebastian suggested she entrust all the money to him for safekeeping. Olivia naturally agreed without hesitation. All the money earned from working recently was given to Sebastian. Olivia only kept a few $100s for pocket money. Sebastian left abruptly. Olivia hadn't noticed anything unusual. As usual, she got off work and returned home, only to find another group of people living in the apartment. Upon anxious inquiry, she learned the original owner had sold the place to them. Olivia collapsed despondently at a street corner. still holding the strawberries she bought for Sebastian on the way home. Olivia didn't understand. Everything seemed fine before. Why did Sebastian leave? Did she do something wrong? With only a few $100s, it wasn't enough to stay even one night in this bustling city. Without a blanket or anything warm, Olivia could only curl up on a park bench, shivering in the early winter night. Freezing cold, unable to sleep, Olivia's mind replayed the events of the past 6 months. She finally believed she had been deceived. A sound that was both a laugh and a sob escaped Olivia's throat. Somehow managing to survive until dawn, Olivia dazedly stood up and headed towards the police station. She had been tricked so badly, Sebastian wouldn't get away with it. Just steps away from the police station, her vision went black and she fainted. When she opened her eyes again, she saw a hospital room. She had miscarried. Awake! I stood up and poured Olivia a glass of water. Why are you here? Olivia's throat was hoarse. Seeing me was clearly a surprise. You fainted outside the police station. The police called us. I told the truth. Beatrice has some things to attend to. You know how busy the company is. After drinking some water, Olivia's throat felt much better. Thank you. Don't mention it. Happy to help. I waved it off nonchalantly. What are your plans now? At this question, Olivia fell silent. I took the hint. If you don't want to talk about it, fine. You're awake now, my job is done. I'm leaving. Olivia clenched her fists tighter and tighter, just as I was about to step out of the room. Wait, Dad. I turned back in surprise. Then, with a thud, Olivia slid off the bed and knelt before me. What are you doing? I asked, feigning ignorance. I want to beg you. I was wrong before, I was blind. Please, be the bigger person, help me. Getting this proud girl to sincerely apologize wasn't easy. I felt satisfied and nodded readily. Okay. Wearily, Olivia seemed unprepared for my quick agreement. I raised an eyebrow disapprovingly. What's with that look? I'm very kind-hearted. With that, I pulled a piece of paper from my bag and handed it to Olivia. Here, this is why your little boyfriend left. Olivia eagerly took it, reading carefully, unwilling to miss a single word. Sebastian was not as sincere as he appeared. In high school, Sebastian hung out with delinquents, paid no attention in class, and naturally didn't get into college. So at a young age, he had to start working. Lazy by nature, he wasn't willing to work hard for meager pay. Sebastian targeted Olivia, who frequented the hotel where he worked, an heiress, proud, pampered, the easiest type to fool. And indeed, Olivia was fooled by Sebastian. If it weren't for my unexpected appearance disrupting Sebastian's plan, he would have succeeded. So that's how it was, ha ha ha. He really treated me like a clown. Tears rolled down her cheeks one by one. She really did like Sebastian. Watching Olivia kneel on the floor crying her heart out, I shook my head. One should never let love cloud their judgment. As devastated as Olivia was, she bounced back just as quickly, crying hysterically one day. The next she was suited up and heading to work at Sterling Corporation. This was naturally arranged by Beatrice. However, Olivia returned to Sterling Corp not as vice president, but as a bottom-rung employee. According to Beatrice, don't expect handouts. Without achievements, how can you prove your ability? How far she climbed depended on herself. Olivia, after all, graduated from a prestigious university and navigated the entry-level position smoothly. After months of tempering in the outside world, her personality visibly matured. She handled matters big and small competently. Beatrice, usually intolerant of flaws, was very satisfied. Sebastian, after leaving Olivia, didn't fare as well as imagined. He found his former lover and shacked up with her. Initially with money to spend, they got along relatively harmoniously. Later, when the money ran out, the woman immediately took the remaining cash and disappeared. Watching the video sent by the private investigator on my phone, I couldn't help but laugh. I showed Olivia the update on Sebastian's situation. Olivia was engrossed in a major project, having worked nonstop for 2 days and nights. She had previously renounced her inheritance for Sebastian. Even returning now, she couldn't reclaim that position. She had to compete with other heirs and heiresses. Only the most capable could climb higher. Olivia looked up from a pile of documents. Seeing Sebastian's name on the paper felt like looking back at a past life. Remembering the suicidal feelings she had when she first realized Sebastian had deceived her now seemed almost laughable. She had been too immature. But seeing Sebastian's current state, a hint of schadenfreude arose. Cheating someone's feelings brings bad luck for 8 lifetimes. Still, she had to thank Sebastian. If not for this ordeal, she might never have grown up. Olivia smiled, relieved. Thanks, Dad. You don't need to show me anything about him anymore. I don't care about him now. Well said. I gave her a thumbs up. Just for calling me Dad, she deserved that thumbs up. That evening, lying in bed after washing up, I remembered the incident and told Beatrice about Sebastian as a joke. Beatrice wasn't particularly interested. If someone could fool Olivia, it was because Olivia was even more foolish. I agreed. Speaking of which, Olivia's reaction surprised me. Didn't she used to be all about lovey-dovey stuff? How did she change so fast? Looks like she's practically sworn off love and ready to become a nun. Olivia's ability to detach so quickly was unexpected. Listening to my constant chatter about Olivia, Beatrice finally couldn't take it anymore. Her voice grew husky. Since my husband is so idle, why don't we do something more fun? Maybe let's not. I have to go to the company tomorrow. Epilogue. All in all, in this farcical event where the fiancé ran off and her mother took her place, Beatrice and I turned out to be surprisingly compatible, and Beatrice liked me very much too. 3 years later, Beatrice and I welcomed a little treasure, a daughter. Our daughter inherited Beatrice's flawlessly beautiful face. This made daughter Beatrice hesitant to discipline the little face that looked so much like her own. But I had no such reservations. Beatrice's face on our daughter didn't look out of place at all. While Beatrice was usually reserved and cool, our daughter constantly tilted her little face up, acting cute, asking for hugs. Beatrice rarely attended large gatherings. Even I had only seen her a handful of times. I'm super cute, okay? When our daughter got a little older, I bought her tons of little dresses. All sorts of princess gowns, cute outfits, cool ones, and even quirky ones. Suffice it to say, fashion depends on the face. Every outfit looked perfect on our daughter. She loved these pretty clothes too. Every time I bought new clothes, she'd eagerly come over and let me dress her up. Thinking about it, it was like playing dress-up with a mini Beatrice. Beatrice found this exasperating but couldn't stop my playful antics. I also bought many matching family outfits, like cute dinosaur pajamas for all 3 of us. Seeing Beatrice looking clumsy doing anything in her dinosaur PJs, if her colleagues saw this, they'd probably die laughing. Anyway, I couldn't hold it in. Ha ha ha. Stop laughing, Beatrice said helplessly. Her response was met with even louder laughter from me. Ha 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 ha. Caleb Miller. Beatrice, embarrassed and annoyed, lunged forward and covered my mouth. Ha 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 MMPH. I couldn't make a sound. I report her for cheating. Just as we were lost in a kiss, a sweet, milky voice piped up from the side. I want kisses too. Looking down, it was our little treasure. Beatrice and I blushed furiously with embarrassment. Kisses are. Our daughter, oblivious, held up her little hands for a hug. Beatrice picked up the little darling. We exchanged a knowing glance, and one from the left, one from the right, planted kisses on our daughter's soft, fair cheeks.